The world tells men to step into their prime at 30. The body is strong, the mind is seasoned. Yet, for many, this decade ignites a silent, brutal conflict. It's not an external enemy, but a war waged within the soul. A battle for identity, purpose, and the very essence of what it means to be a man. Many men sail into their 30s believing they have arrived, only to find themselves adrift in a storm of existential doubt. The naive certainties of youth crumble under the weight of experience, leaving a void that demands to be filled. This is the awakening, the necessary crucible that strips away pretense and forces a confrontation with the self. It is here, in the quiet solitude of this internal battlefield, that true strength is forged, or where a man begins his slow decline. The external world often applauds a man's achievements, his career, his relationships. But the internal landscape is a different realm, a hidden war that few witness and even fewer understand. This is the war against complacency, against the comfortable lies we tell ourselves, against the erosion of will that seeks to turn a man into a ghost in his own life. It is the profound realization that the greatest adversary a man will ever face stands not before him, but within him. This inner war is not a sign of failure. It is a testament to growth, an unavoidable passage for any man willing to confront his own limitations and ascend to a higher state of being. The whispers of doubt, the gnawing anxieties, the feeling of being perpetually on the verge of something yet never quite arriving, these are the skirmishes of this internal conflict. A man might find himself in a successful career, with a family, a life that appears enviable from the outside, yet feels an emptiness that no external validation can fill. This is the profound disconnect between the man the world sees and the man he knows himself to be, or fears he might become. The 30s are a stark reminder that external success is a hollow shell without internal alignment. It is the period where the masks begin to crack, revealing the true face beneath. This confrontation with self is often jarring, as the comfortable illusions of younger years can no longer sustain themselves against the relentless march of time and the accumulating weight of unaddressed truths. It is a call to arms, a summons to engage with the deepest parts of oneself, to confront the fears that have been long suppressed and the potential that has been left dormant. This war is essential. Without it, a man risks becoming a mere echo of his former self, a shadow of what he could have been, forever haunted by the ghost of unfulfilled potential. The wisdom of the Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, offers a clear lens through which to view this internal struggle. He understood that the greatest battles are not fought on fields of war, but within the citadel of the mind. In his Meditations, he writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the core principle of waging this inner war. It is about recognizing that while external circumstances may be chaotic, the inner citadel is a territory that can be defended and cultivated. This requires rigorous self-discipline, a commitment to objective truth, and an unwavering focus on virtue. The battle begins with self-awareness, understanding one's own impulses, biases, and the narratives that shape one's reality. It demands an honest appraisal of one's character, recognizing the flaws that hinder progress and the strengths that can be amplified. This is not a task for the faint of heart. It is a relentless, often lonely, endeavor. The modern world, with its constant distractions and superficial gratifications, offers 1,000 ways to avoid this internal confrontation. Social media, endless entertainment, the pursuit of fleeting pleasures, these are the opiate of the unawakened man, offering temporary relief from the demands of self-mastery. But this avoidance is a tactical retreat that leads to strategic defeat. The inner war requires presence, introspection, and a willingness to sit with discomfort. It requires cultivating a mental fortitude that can withstand the psychological onslaught of doubt and self-recrimination. This is where silence becomes a weapon. In the quietude, away from the noise of the external world, a man can hear the true whispers of his soul. He can distinguish between the fleeting anxieties and the deep currents of his purpose. Solitude, often feared, becomes the training ground for this internal conflict. It is in solitude that a man is forced to rely on his own company, his own thoughts, his own resources. He learns to confront the aspects of himself that he has long neglected or deliberately ignored. This confrontation can be brutal. It involves facing the shadow self, the parts of us we deem unacceptable or weak, but which hold immense power when unacknowledged. Yet, it is through this brave engagement that integration and authentic strength are achieved. The turning point often comes not with a dramatic victory, but with a subtle shift in perspective. It is the moment a man stops fighting against himself and begins to work with himself. It is the decision to embrace responsibility not as a burden, but as the very tool for his own liberation. This requires a radical acceptance of what is, coupled with a fierce commitment to what can be. The war is not about eliminating struggle, but about transforming it into a source of power. Consider the ancient warrior, not just skilled in battle, but disciplined in mind, prepared for the psychological toll of conflict. His strength was not merely physical. It was rooted in an unshakable internal resolve. This is the model for the modern man engaged in his own existential battle. The external markers of success, wealth, status, recognition, are ephemeral. The true victory is internal. The cultivation of a character that is resilient, virtuous, and aligned with a higher purpose. This journey demands courage. It requires facing the fear of failure, the fear of inadequacy, the fear of confronting one's own mortality. These are the dragons that guard the treasure of true self-mastery. The 30s represent a critical juncture where the choices a man makes will define the trajectory of his remaining years. To ignore the inner war is to invite a slow spiritual decay, a life lived in regret and unfulfilled potential. To engage with it is to embark on the most important and ultimately rewarding quest of his life. The reward is not external acclaim, but an internal peace, a quiet confidence that emanates from a man who knows himself, accepts himself, and is committed to becoming his best self. This transformation is not a destination but a continuous process, a daily recommitment to the ideals of strength, wisdom, and integrity. It is the ongoing practice of defending the inner citadel against the forces that seek to undermine it. A man who has faced his inner war and emerged victorious is not defined by his scars, but by the depth of his character and the clarity of his vision. He walks with a quiet authority not born of ego, but of profound self-knowledge and hard-won resilience. The world may still present challenges, but within him, there is now a stable center, a bedrock of inner strength that allows him to navigate any storm. He understands that true power lies not in controlling the external, but in mastering the internal. This is the ultimate victory, the essence of what it means to be a man truly alive in his own skin. The journey continues, but the war within has been won, replaced by a vigilant peace and an unyielding purpose.